Hi everyone, welcome. This is a short class that's going to target your shoulders, your hips, and your hamstrings. And it's designed really for people who are just beginning their journey with yoga and are looking for a way to continue practicing in between in-person classes. So for class, you're going to need two blocks, a strap, and if you're someone with really tight hamstrings, you know that doing forward folds is a bit of a challenge for you, I might recommend grabbing a chair, and I'll show you how to use that here in a little bit. So when you're ready, I'll see you on the mat. All right, we're going to begin in a standing position. So go ahead and bring your feet to just slightly wider than hips width distance apart. If you can spread your toes, do so. On an inhale, reach your arms straight up overhead, kind of pushing your thumbs back behind you to help externally rotate your shoulders. And a pause here, slight tuck of your tailbone to help protect your lower back. Lift your chest up. Take a big inhale. And you're going to cactus your arms. As your arms come down, push your elbows back behind you to squeeze your shoulder blades together. Hands are going to come down by your sides. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, cactus your arms. Same thing. Keep tucking your tailbone as your hands come down. Inhale, lift up. You're going to take three more just like that. Take them at your pace. The exhale brings your hands down. Push your elbows back behind. Slight tuck of your tailbone. Inhale, your hands come straight up overhead. Last one. Inhale. And exhale, cactus your arms. This time, you're going to bring your hands to clasp right behind your tailbone. Maybe consider taking the awkward grip. So most of us have one way that our hands come together in a grip. See if you can't take the opposite one. So you're just kind of moving your fingers over to that uncomfortable position. On your next inhale, push your hands straight back behind you, expand across your chest, keep your tailbone tucked. Hold here, keep pushing your hands straight back behind you. Try to keep your shoulders down and back. One more full breath here. And then on your next exhale, bring your hands over to your left hip. You're going to tuck your left elbow back behind you. You don't really want it winging out. Kind of bring it right back. And then on your next exhale, drop your head over to the left. Pause here. You should be feeling a pretty big stretch down the right side of your neck. And then slowly on an exhale, tuck your chin to your chest. Start to roll your head down towards your chest and then up and over to the right. And then coming right back the same way coming right back the same way that we traveled, chin to chest. Bring your head up and over to the left. And just kind of keep moving back and forth. Take it at the pace of your breath. So the exhale brings your head down towards your chest. Inhale, your head lifts up towards your shoulder. Feel free to pause anywhere that might need a little extra attention here. Maybe you close your eyes. Remember, keep your tailbone slightly tucked. Take one more full breath, and then we'll all meet with our head over to the left shoulder. Pausing here. And then on your next inhale, push your hands straight back behind you at center. Pause again, take two full breaths. Release your hands down by your sides. Inhale, sweep your arms out wide, hands come to meet overhead. Exhale, cactus your arms. All right, clasp your hands once again behind your tailbone. Inhale, push your hands straight back behind you, just like we did before. Now exhale, bring your hands over to your right hip. Tuck your right elbow back behind you. And then when you're ready, start to drop your head over to the right shoulder. And pause here for a couple breaths. And then slowly on an exhale, start to bring your chin down to your chest. Roll it over to the left shoulder. Exhale, your chin comes back down. Rolling over to the left. Excuse me, to the right. And just kind of keep moving back and forth at the pace of your breath. Remember, the exhale brings your head down towards your chest. The inhale, your head lifts up towards the shoulder. Really just kind of targeting our neck and upper shoulder here. You might find some sweet spots that need a little extra attention. Feel free to pause there, breathe into it. One more full breath, and then we'll meet with our heads over to the right shoulder. All right, take 2 full breaths here. All right, next inhale, push your hands straight back behind you. Exhale, release your hands down by your sides. Inhale, sweep your arms out wide, hands come to meet overhead. Exhale, cactus your arms. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, cactus your arms. All right. I'm going to come over to a wall now. You're going to bring your right shoulder first, right up to the wall, and you're going to extend your right hand back behind you. So bringing that shoulder all the way in, you're going to start out, your left shoulder is going to want to turn towards the wall because this can be a pretty big shoulder opening for most of us. And then slowly, to deepen the stretch, just start to pull your left shoulder out away from the wall, keeping your right shoulder in close. Slight tuck your tailbone here. I want you to take 4 more slow, deep breaths. Gently pressing the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. And then after your 4th exhale, you can roll your left shoulder in, and then you're just going to switch it out. So extending your left arm down the wall, bring your left shoulder in to touch. Start to slowly open your right shoulder out away from the wall, keeping your left shoulder in. Here for 5 cycles of breath in total. Keep your tailbone tucked. Crown of your head presses gently up towards the ceiling. One more full breath here. And then start to bring your right shoulder back towards the wall. You're just going to step away. Coming back, maybe take a couple shoulder shrugs here. Those are some pretty big shoulder opening stretches. Now, if you've got a chair, grab it. If you don't have a chair or aren't planning to use a chair, you can also do this on the wall. So I'm going to demo what it looks like on the wall, and then I'll grab the chair and show you where to go if you're using a chair. So another shoulder opening pose here. You're going to bring your feet just a little bit wider than hips width distance apart. Place your hands on the wall straight out in front of you, and then push your hips back. Slight tuck of your tailbone to engage your lower core. And then start to bring your head and chest through your arms, keeping your hands straight. Keeping your arms straight, pressing your hands into the wall so that they're flat against the wall. All right, so this is version 1. If you want to use a chair, alternatively, you can bring your chair right out. Excuse me, Luna. Same thing here, only this time you're going to put your hands on top of the back of the chair. Feet come out wide. Push your hips back behind you. Slight tuck of your tailbone to engage your lower core. And then let your head and chest drop through your arms as much as possible. All right. Meet me here. We're going to take 5 slow, deep breaths together. One more full deep breath. And then slowly start to come back out. Moving slow helps protect the tendons that we're opening up right now. Both the tendons and ligaments in your shoulders, when we're stretching them, they start to get a little more vulnerable, especially if you haven't stretched them in a long time. So moving slow is better than moving fast. Fast, jerky movements are going to make you more prone to injury. So slow is good. Think about moving as if you're moving your body through molasses or honey. That's kind of the pace that you want to move throughout yoga. Hi, Luna. This is my cat, Luna. She is the star of the show most of the time. Come on, let's go over. All right. So now we're going to move into some forward folds. Forward fold, your feet are going to be right underneath your hips. Well, on an inhale, stretch your arms out wide. Hands are going to come to meet overhead. Keeping a micro bend in your knees, exhale, hands pass to the center of your chest, fold forward. Hands come down to the mat, onto your shins, up to your thighs. You can also use a chair here for your forward fold. If you've got really tight hamstrings, this might be as far down as you come. You can let your head rest on the seat of the chair if it will come down that far. Hands can rest down either towards the mat, maybe onto the chair. Just kind of using this as a prop to help support you in the forward fold so that you can really focus on helping open up your hamstrings. All right, so here, one thing to note, anytime in yoga, you don't want to lock out your knees at any point, right? So we keep just a slight micro bend in our knees by engaging, kind of think about lifting your kneecaps. And that's going to help you keep that micro bend, keep you from locking out. And let your head and neck hang heavy here as best as possible. If you'd like, you can grab for opposite elbows. And then play with bending one knee, moving over to that side, and then the other. Just kind of moving back and forth. You should start to feel this in your lower back as well as your hamstrings. Just kind of taking a few slow, deep breaths as you move back and forth. No, if you are using a chair, you could bring your elbows up onto the seat of the chair here and just kind of let your head hang through your arms. And then same thing, just kind of bending one leg and then the other. Taking about 3 more cycles of breath here. All right, and then slowly on an inhale, come up halfway, lengthen your spine. If you're using the chair, press your hands into the chair, push your tailbone back, crown of your head comes forward. On an exhale, fold forward once again. And then inhale, start to coil all the way up back to standing. You're going to rise up just one vertebra at a time, letting your arms, head hang heavy. Once you get to the top, inhale, reach your arms out wide, hands come to meet overhead. Exhale, cactus your arms. Perfect. All right, so we're going to move into a wide leg forward fold now. If you're using a chair, you're going to bring that right out in front of you. You're going to step out wide on your mat. Go as wide as you can go. You're going to push your heels out so that the pinky toe edge of your feet are parallel with the ends of your mat. On an inhale, you'll sweep your hands up overhead. Exhale, cactus your arms. Inhale, lift up. Now exhale, fold forward. Hands pass through the center of your chest. Keep a micro bend in your knees as you come down. You're pushing your hips back and up. Your hands will either come down to the mat right underneath your shoulders. If your hands are coming to the mat, try pressing down and forward into the mat to help your head and neck hang just a little bit heavier. Maybe you play with bringing the weight into the balls of your feet a little bit. If you're planning to use the chair here, same thing, you're going to come down, you're going to push your hips back and really press the pinky toe edge of your feet into the mat as well as the ball of your foot. So you're just kind of rooting your feet into the mat. Stretch your hands out on your chair and then let your head and neck hang through your arms. So the chair is here just to help add a little extra stability. If at any point you need to come out of the pose, the chair is also really nice because it gives you just something really sturdy to hold on to as you come out. Now, maybe play with taking some side-to-side movements. So bending one knee and then the other, just kind of moving back and forth on your mat. Be really slow and controlled here. Don't want any fast movements. I'm being supervised by Luna, y'all. How we doing, Luna? Does this look right? All right, we'll meet back at center. On an inhale, come up halfway, lengthen your spine. You're pressing the crown of your head forward, tailbone pushes back, and then on exhale, fold forward once again. Keeping, again, micro bend in your knee. Think about lifting your kneecaps. You'll engage your quads as you do. And then slowly start to come out of your forward fold, rising all the way back up. You're going to push your hips forward, tucking your tailbone under. Inhale, reach your hands up overhead. Exhale, hands pass through the center of your chest. Now, we're going to move into horse just briefly. If you're using a chair, you can bring your hands to the chair to help with stability. You're just going to pivot your heels in towards your midline. From here, sink your hips low. Now you want to keep a 90-degree bend at most in your knees. Your knees are also going to want to fall inward, so push them out. You want them kind of in line with your big toes, and you sink your hips low. Hands can either be on your chair, or you can bring them to the center of your chest if you've got good balance. Just sinking low here, starting to fire up your glutes. Tucking your tailbone under and lifting your chest. Roll your shoulders down and back. All right, now inhale, open up. We call this 5-pointed star. Straighten your legs. Reach your hands straight out wide, expanding across your chest. And then bring your hands back to center, and you can just kind of heel toe your feet in until you're back at a standing position. I'm going to go ahead and set my chair off to the side. We may want it here in just a little bit. Or I'm going to move into a low lunge to a crescent lunge. So I'm going to make your way down onto your mat. Once you're down on your mat, I want you to take a couple rounds of cat and cow. So you're stacking your shoulders above your wrists, your hips above your knees. On an inhale, drop your belly towards the mat, lift your head and chest and your tailbone. On an exhale, curl your chin to chest, tuck your tailbone under, push the center of your back up towards the ceiling. And kind of keep moving at the pace of your breath. The inhale brings you up. Exhale, you curl in. Inhale brings you up. And exhale, curl in. Take 3 more at your pace. Maybe close your eyes as you move. This is helping to wake up our spine. As you push into cat, where you're curled in like this, try to engage your lower core muscles to help lift your back up. One more full breath. All right, now push yourself up into a downward facing dog. So you're going to tuck your toes under, push your hips high. Pause here. So in downward facing dog, just note you're working to push your hips up towards the ceiling. Let your head hang heavy through your arms. Spread all 10 fingers wide on the mat. And then just play. Since it's our first down dog, you might bend one knee and then the other. So it's going to start to warm up your hamstrings a little bit more. Actively trying to push one heel towards the mat and then the other. Don't worry if your heels don't come all the way to the mat. It's okay. Wherever you are at in this practice is just right. As long as you're getting the stretch and you're keeping good alignment, you are practicing yoga, my friend. Okay, so options here. We're going to move into a low lunge. Your option is to either lift your left leg up, and on an exhale, you can start to step your foot through to a low lunge. So bringing your left foot forward up to meet your hands at the top of your space. Or if you want, bring your knees down to the mat, then step your left foot forward. All right. From here, if you've got a lot of knee pain, you can bring your back knee up. We call this a low lunge. We want to start to wake up our hamstrings here. So you're going to start to straighten your front leg. On an inhale and on an exhale, sink low, finding lunge once again. Just kind of moving back and forth, keeping your back leg up if you can. If you can't, don't worry, you can bring your back knee down. Same thing, you just work on straightening and rebending. Again, we're moving really slow. Try to move at the pace of your breath, keeping your breath slow and controlled here. All right, now if your back knee is down to the mat, go ahead and lift it up. We're going to move into a crescent lunge. So step your back foot in about an inch, and then you're going to raise your hands up overhead. Here's your crescent lunge. So really important in your crescent lunge, your pelvis, if you can see on my body right now, pelvis really wants to lean forward in a crescent lunge. It's our job to tuck your tailbone under. You might need to bend your back knee quite a bit to bring your pelvis straight up and down. And you'll notice as you do that, you start to get a big stretch in your right hip flexor. All right, so you focus your gaze on a point out in front of you. Reach your hands up overhead. Now, you should be working pretty hard in your left glute. The lower you bend, like kind of the deeper you lunge, the harder your legs are going to work. So if you want to make this more of a workout, you can always bring your hands to the center of your chest and pulse up and down, going really slow. Focus on targeting your glutes in your left leg. Just kind of moving up and down for 3 and 2 and 1. Woo! All right, that is intense, huh? Reach your hands up overhead. Exhale, cactus your arms. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, hands to the center of your chest. Now lean forward, straighten your back leg. Weight comes into your front foot, and then step up to a standing pose. Take a big inhale, reach your hands out wide. Exhale, fold forward if you can. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, coil all the way up to standing once again, rising up just one vertebra at a time. Inhale, reach your hands up overhead. Exhale, hands pass through the center of your chest. All right. That was a low lunge. We're going to move to the other side now. So go ahead and come back down to the mat. You can start from a downward facing dog. Again, just kind of pedal out your knees. If you're in down dog, pushing your hips high. And then the same way that you came into a lunge on the other side, go ahead and take that here. So if you brought your knees down to the mat, this time you're going to step your right foot forward. You want to make sure that your right ankle is kind of right below your knee so that you're not bending more than 90 degrees with that leg. All right, just like we did before, we want to start to wake up our hamstrings. You can bring your back knee up off the mat, or you can keep it down, whichever one's going to feel most accessible. And then you're just going to straighten your front leg and rebend it. Moving really slow. Couple more full breaths. All right, we'll meet back in our low lunge. Bring your back knee up off the mat if it was lowered. You're going to step your back foot in about an inch. Rise up to a crescent lunge. Hands come up overhead. Again, remember, you want to keep your pelvis straight up and down, so tuck your tailbone under, firing up your lower core, so the muscles right below your belly button to help tuck your tailbone under. You might need to bend your back knee. Inhale, you reach your hands up overhead. Focus your gaze on a point out in front of you. If it's not already, start to fire up your right glute. You can always call this like a touch tone method where you can actually touch the muscle that you want to target. So in this case, it's our right glute. Let it know this is the muscle we want to be engaged here. You may have several other muscles engaged as well, but this is the one that you should be feeling the most. All right, go ahead and bring your hands back to center. And let's pulse it out a few times here. So remember, sink as low as you can go. And then lift back up. Keeping your pelvis straight up and down as you move. Take 3 more just like that. For 1. And 2. And 3. Woo! Inhale, lift your hands up overhead. Exhale, cactus your arms. Hands come back to the center of your chest. Lean forward. Straighten your back leg. Weight comes to your front foot. Step up to a standing position. Inhale, reach your hands up overhead. Exhale, hands pass through the center of your chest. All right. That is the crescent lunge. You can repeat that as many times as you want to help build muscle, get a little bit more of a workout. From here, we're headed back down onto our mat. So from your standing position, on an inhale, sweep your hands out wide. Hands come to meet overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Plant your hands to the mat. Now you're going to step back to a high plank. Whatever way works best for your body to get into a high plank, take it. Feet in your high plank. Your feet are about hips width distance apart. Hands are right underneath your shoulders. Tuck your tailbone under. Your hips should be just slightly lower than your shoulders here. Gaze can be up to the top of your mat. Pausing here for 5 cycles of breath. On your 5th exhale, lower all the way to the mat, keeping your elbows in close to your sides. Untuck your toes. On an inhale, you're going to lift your head and chest, pressing your hips into the mat. working to bring your elbows back behind you so your hands lift up. And on an exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. One more time. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, lower down. Hands come back under your shoulders. Tuck your toes under. Push up to a high plank. And then push your hips high. Let your head come through your arms. Find downward facing dog. You might need to step your feet in just a little bit. All right. Feel free to pause the video if you want to keep practicing Cobra, which is what we just did. Pause the video, go do that 2 or 3 more times, and then I'll meet you back here. Otherwise, if you'd like to continue on, we can move your chair out of the way because we're headed down onto our back. I'm sorry, Princess Luna. Here we go. All right, so we move the chair out of the way just to make a little more space for where we're headed. We're going to be down on the ground, kind of moving our legs all over the place. Where we're going, you're going to need your strap. Make your way down onto your back. Have the strap just off to the side of your mat. Once you get down onto your back, hug your knees into your chest. Press your tailbone to the mat. As you pull your knees in towards your chest, you get that kind of antagonist movement where you're pushing your hips down, your tailbone down to the mat and pulling your knees in. And then you have a slight lift of your chest to help lengthen your spine. And then maybe you start to rock from side to side. Going really slow here. As we rock, it's kind of helping massage out the erector muscles that go up and down our spinal column. These are the muscles that help keep us upright. And for a lot of us, they get super tight, maybe even have some knots. Rolling out like this can help alleviate some of those symptoms. All right, now go ahead and lower your feet to the floor. I'm going to move to a figure 4. So you're going to bring your left ankle to the top of your right knee. Start to walk your right heel in pretty close to your body. You can either reach through, grab just behind your right thigh or below your right kneecap and hug your legs in. If you can't, if this isn't accessible for you, keep your right foot on the floor and just gently push your left your left knee away from you. You should be getting a pretty big opening in your left hip here, whichever version you're taking. All right, here for about 5 cycles of breath. Really pushing your left knee out away from you. If you're hugging your legs in, same thing, you can kind of use your left elbow to push your left knee out away from you, or you can kind of fire up your left glute to more actively engage that leg to push your knee away as you pull your legs in. Two more full breaths. And then go ahead and lower your right foot down to the mat. You're going to bring your left foot down to meet it. Hug both knees into your chest to help reset your spine. Maybe rock from side to side. And then go ahead and bring your feet back down to the mat. I'm going to move to the other side. So bringing your right ankle to the top of your left knee. You can either use your hand to help push your right knee away and stay here. Or if you'd like, reach through, grab just behind your left thigh or below your left knee. Pull your legs in towards your chest. Keep pushing your right knee out away from you as you pull your legs in. A few slow, deep breaths here. Two more breaths. And then go ahead and lower your left foot down to the mat. Bring your right foot down as well. Hug both knees into your chest. All right, we're going to head into some strap work to help open up our hamstrings and IT bands. On your next inhale, extend your right heel straight up to the sky. So you're straightening that leg, fully engaging the leg as you slowly lower it all the way down to the mat. Keep that leg flexed. And keep your foot flexed as well. As with this leg flexed on the mat, it's going to help keep your hips kind of level on the mat as we move through this strap work. Grab your strap. You're going to loop it around the ball of your left foot. Kick your left heel up to the ceiling. Have one end of the strap in either hand. Pull your strap in towards your chest. Keep pushing your heel up and out away from you, keeping just a micro bend in that knee. Try to relax your shoulders as much as possible here. Got 3 more full breaths. And then you're going to pass your straps over into your right hand. Your left hand's going to come down to your left hip just to help push your hip down, making sure it stays anchored on the mat. And then you start to pull your leg over to the right. Make sure your left hip doesn't rise up. Keep pushing up and out with your left heel. This is probably a pretty intense stretch. Breathe slow and controlled. Maybe close your eyes. Here for 3 more cycles of breath. No, it's okay. If your foot is only coming over a couple inches, that is totally fine. Me too. 1 more full breath here. And then come back to center. Slowly pass your straps into your left hand now, bringing your right hand down to your right hip. And you're just going to open your left leg out to the left, bringing it out as wide as possible, keeping both hips planted on the mat. And you can also pull your straps up so that your foot comes a little bit higher up towards your shoulder. Two more full breaths. And then very slowly start to pull your leg back to center. You're going to grab one end of the strap with either hand. Pull your leg in at center one more time, pushing your heel up and out. You've got 3 slow, deep breaths. And then start to bend your left leg. Release your strap off to the right side of your mat. Lower your left leg down to meet the right. Just kind of notice, is there a difference between your left and right leg right now? Hopefully, your left leg feels just a little bit longer than your right. All right, go ahead and hug both knees into your chest. This helps reset our spine. Maybe rock side to side. And you're going to extend right back out. Hug your right knee into your chest. Then grab your straps, loop it around the ball of your right foot. Start to kick your right heel up towards the ceiling. Remember, you're keeping your left leg fully engaged here to help keep your hips square on the mat. Pull your leg in towards your chest, pushing your heel up and out. Here for about 5 cycles of breath in total. One more full breath. All right, you're going to pass your straps to your left hand. Bring your right hand down to your right hip to help keep that hip planted on the mat, and then slowly pull your leg across your body just as far as you can go, keeping your right hip on the mat, pushing your right heel up and out away from you. I know this is intense. It's intense for me too. Breathe into it. Try to keep your breath slow and controlled here. And then after your third breath, you're going to slowly bring your leg back to center, pass your straps to your right hand. Left hand comes down to your left hip, pushing the hip into the mat, and then start to open your right leg out wide, pulling your straps up as if to bring your leg up towards your shoulder a little bit. Keep pushing your heel up and out. Here for 3 more cycles of breath. And then very slowly start to pull your leg back to center. Grab one end of the strap in either hand. Pull your leg in at center once again, pushing your heel up and out. 3 more breaths. All right, start to bend your right knee. Remove your strap off to the side of your mat. Extend out long. You're going to take a full body stretch. Reach your hands up overhead. Point and flex your feet. Maybe take some wrist circles and ankle circles. We're going to move into, it's called Supta Baddha Konasana. So you're going to bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees fall out wide. Hands can either stay down by your sides, palm face up, or you can bring them out to a T for a little bit more of a chest expansion. You can also reach them straight up overhead. Whichever position you're taking with your hands, make sure that your arms can completely relax down to the mat. So if you've got your hands up overhead and you notice your arms are kind of floating up above the ground, try bringing them out to a T so that your arms can relax down to the mat. Let your eyes close here and try to create a wave-like pattern of breath in your body where on your inhale, your belly rises first. It expands up into your chest. And then on the exhale, your belly falls first and it kind of pulls everything else down with it. Here for about 7 cycles of breath in total. Do know if this is really intense on the adductor muscles on the insides of your thighs, you can always place blocks right underneath your thighs here to just help prop them up just a little bit and help ease that tension. Take just a couple more full breaths here. All right, you're going to bring your hands down by your sides, help guide your knees back together as if you were closing a book. And you're just going to make your way up slowly to a comfortable seat. Take just a moment once you're seated, bow forward, seal your practice in. Thanks for joining, everyone. I'll see you next time.